everybody, it's Vanessa here and welcome to my dyslexic life. Today, I want to talk about hiding your dyslexia in relationships.
My Dyslexic Life is brought to you by Remarkable Minds and the Truth About Dyslexia course. Check them out at the link.
Hey everybody. So a few weeks ago, I did a video about having to hide your dyslexia at work. And I'm going to talk more about that in some other videos. But today I wanted to talk about actually hiding your dyslexia in a relationship. You know, dyslexia doesn't just affect our reading and writing. It affects our ability to listen. It affects our ability to communicate verbally and in writing. And the biggest thing is it affects our ability to really get to know ourselves and learn to trust ourselves. So I would ask you, if you're in a relationship, do you feel like you need to hide your dyslexia? Do you feel like you can't share your dyslexia with your partner? And I think the other side of this is that puts a huge pressure on ourselves because we're not actually able to be our true self with that other person. And that means that it can be really, really hard for us to open ourselves up to being connected with that other person, of course, because we're trying to hide who we really are. And, you know, maybe if you are in a new relationship, it can be pretty scary, can't it? It can be pretty scary to admit that you struggle with these things that people assume are going to be easy. Or if you've been in a relationship for quite a long time and you've discovered you're dyslexic, it really shifts the dynamic. And I know this is something that I really struggled with because I didn't understand why I couldn't communicate what I think and feel. And it was causing a lot of problems. And then I realized I was dyslexic. So I was like, oh, there's a reason for it. But the other person didn't understand how dyslexia could be affecting my ability to communicate clearly. And, you know, what I would say is the only way to really deal with dyslexia in relationships is for you yourself to become really aware of what is the impact of dyslexia in a relationship, and then really come to terms with your dyslexia. Really kind of learn to accept what are the struggles and what are the things that are going to be positive, because there are positives and negatives to being dyslexic. And there are positives and negatives to the dyslexia in a relationship. And I think, you know, having that awareness of yourself is probably the biggest thing that you can do. The second biggest thing is actually being open about your dyslexia. Because if you're open about the fact that you're dyslexic, and so text messages are going to get misread, you know, you might not be able to communicate easily verbally or in a written communication. And I think, you know, if you're entering into a new relationship, if you can be open about your dyslexia, then you're going to build a much stronger connection with that person. And you're also going to find out how accepting they are. And I think that's a great place to start. If you're already in a relationship and dyslexia is affecting it, then I would say, you know, really think about how it's affecting your relationship. Is it affecting your time management? Is it affecting your ability to communicate with that person? Do you feel like you can open up to that person and talk about your dyslexia? You know, if you can increase your own awareness around dyslexia and work on that self-acceptance first, then that's the way to build solid relationships. And it's the hardest thing because often we look outside for that approval and that acceptance. And often we go into relationships looking for that other person to accept us. And I could make a whole video on that. But what I kind of wanted to talk about today was hiding your dyslexia in a relationship is just so stressful. It's as stressful as hiding it at work. And if you can get to a place where you're accepting of your own dyslexia with the positives and the negatives that it brings, then actually taking that into your relationship is actually the way to build a really good foundation for you to be able to feel comfortable and certain and confident. So, are you trying to hide your dyslexia in a relationship? If you are, that's so tiring. And I would really encourage you to watch some of our other content and find out some ways that you could accept your dyslexia, because trust me, that is the key. Self-acceptance is the key.